Tonight we have our final regular season dual meet on ESPN, and we have a great one featuring the two teams that won the last two NCAA championships. Number 1 Oklahoma Sooners are visiting number 2 Michigan Wolverines. You're watching the Big Ten on ESPN. We're inside Chrysler Arena here in Ann Arbor for the final regular season matchup of the season. And I'm proud to be always working with Kathy Johnson-Clark, my fellow Olympic medalist. 1 versus 2, it's a dream matchup, and here we go.
It's an interesting dynamic, too, because these teams are so different in terms of style and presentation of their gymnastics, and yet very evenly matched competitively. That makes it exciting and entertaining, as well as up in the air in terms of the outcome.
It's amazing because 72 hours ago, they were going against Florida, who was number 2 in the country. Oklahoma has been number 1 for the last couple of months, but as of the new re-ranking which came out today, Michigan has surged into the number 2 spot. So this is a legit 1 versus 2, and we have one of the greatest Michigan gymnasts of all time up first, Natalie Wojcik.
Opening with the Yurchenko 1.5 twist. Very nice amplitude, good control on the landing, not quite a stick to start them off, but an excellent play.
This is a dual meet competition, meaning the teams will go back and forth. The home team starts on the vault. That's where Michigan is, led by Natalie Wojcik, the graduate student and one of the greatest of all time for their program. And the Oklahoma Sooners will be led off by Danny Severs on the bars in this first rotation. Oklahoma number 1 in the country.
And she leads off for Oklahoma. Needs to keep her cool, her calm. Look at the perfect position on that first handstand. Maloney into the Pax Salto, very well done. A little bit crooked on the handstand pirouette. Oh, just excellent position on these handstands. Judges are sitting right on the side. They're gonna love so much about that routine.
Severs coming off an incredible meet Friday night against Florida as well. Let's go down to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Sam Pesek.
Thanks, Bart. Yeah, Michigan's head coach Bev Plotke told me that last weekend they didn't vault their best because they were trying too hard to stick. It's such a fine line between focusing on the importance of landings and not over-addressing it. But Bev said, when we're on, we are on. And guys, I watched warm-ups. They're setting themselves up to have a great day.
And Sam Gabby can be huge with this vault. Didn't quite get the stick, but they are showing the trademark amplitude of Michigan on vault.
No question about it. Michigan well known for their big, explosive vaulting. Natalie Wojcik led them off with a 9.85. Gabby Wilson, one of the 3 seniors that will be honored tonight. It is senior night in Ann Arbor. They have 3 seniors and 2 graduate students. Danae Fletcher up now for the Sooners. Severs led off OU with a 9.925.
Opens with a very difficult piked Jaeger. She's a little bit close in on that catch. Nice form. Did you see how close those legs are? Just glued together on the Pax Salto, down to the low bar. Really like to see that leg form. A little bit off on that final handstand, but check out the dismount. Full twisting double back.
Danae Fletcher, the sophomore. She has been a great contributor to this Oklahoma team, who has dominated gymnastics for nearly the last decade. Natalie Wojcik, you saw her, and Gabby Wilson, 9.9 for her. This brings up Naomi Morrison.
So Naomi also does a Yurchenko 1.5, 10.0 start value. They're doing 5 of them. Look at that gorgeous height. The amplitude was superb. I think she scooted her feet back just a little bit.
6 of 8 meets, she's been in the vault lineup with a season high 9.75.
Watch the landing as she goes for the stick. She's nice and high, just slightly under rotated. Those hips are a little bit far back, so she had to scoot back. It'll be a deduction for an under rotation.
Graduate student now for the Sooners, Olivia Troutman on the bars.
Such a dynamic performer on all of her events. Good form on both the transitions Gymnasts have to make 2 bar changes going from high to low and back down to low before dismounting. And check this double layout out. That is just gorgeous. Form, execution, and a good landing.
Troutman has struggled with injuries throughout her career, but she seems to pour it on when it starts to matter, like late in the season.
Glued those legs together, and they lift, and lifts even higher into the second somersault, showing off that double layout shape. Well done.
Another one of the seniors for Michigan is Sierra Brooks. She's up now. Naomi Morrison at a 9.875.
If she can get the stick here, oh, so much distance and a little bit too much to control that landing, so a big hop.
She landed a mile from that vault table. Impressive, explosive vaulting. That's the trend for Michigan. Score just came in for Olivia Troutman. It's a 9.925. That's a career high for her on Barb as Reagan Smith gets set to go.
Bart, yeah, we talk about them competing 2 big competitions in one weekend, but KJ Kindler told us they had 2 days off this week, hopefully to trick their mind that they're well rested. An athlete like Reagan, she is someone they can't get out of the gym. And Kathy, they have massages every single day after practice to help their body feel better.
We call those gym rats. They love being in the gym, working on all of these details so they can show them off in competition. See if she can get the stick on her double layout. Well done, drilled it right into the mat.
Before her, Olivia Troutman had the second 9.925 for the Sooners, so the visiting team off to a great start here on Barb.
You can see those judges' tables, they sit right on the side, so they can see the shapes in the air. And on a double layout, you really got to lock in that laid out position.
Abby Heiskell coming after Sierra Brooks, bounced her way to a 9.8.
This is perhaps the most impressive mechanics and technique in NCAA vaulting. Yurchenko 1.5. Oh, the technique is superb. She didn't get the perfect vault I saw her do yesterday in training, but it's still a wow for me.
Heiskell also a graduate student, a part of that national championship team a couple of years ago. Came up with that clutch routine on beam in that final rotation. Who could forget that? Jordan Bowers net to go after Reagan Smith notched to 9.9. Remember, the athletes, 6 athletes compete. You count the best 5 out of those 6 towards your team total.
Watch her single bar release move. It comes up right here after the blind change. Well done into handstand. A high straddle Jaeger. She gets nice counter rotation on that element. Legs glued together on the pack salto. This is how you give no tenths of a point away. Certainly not in terms of form. Let's see if she can get this stick, and look at the toes pointed throughout that entire full twisting double back, and punctuates it with the stick.
Consistently in the all-around all year long for the Sooners, delivers again.
I love the form in this. Her legs are just glued tightly together, keeps those toes pointed, knees together throughout a very complex dismount.
Kaylin Morgan will be the anchor vaulter. She's just a freshman.
Yurchenko full, this is a 9.95 start value. She's got to drill it. Hop on the landing. So remember that the start value dictates the maximum score that a vault can get. It's based on the level of difficulty.
I love what Bev Plotke said about her. She calls her a meat baby. She said she can hit under pressure, just a freshman. And of course, they're going to need her contributions going forward because 5 of their superstars are graduating this year. Audrey Davis coming up after Jordan Bowers notched a 9.95.
One of the premier bar routines in the NCAA right now. Watch this giant swing to a Higgins right there into the L grip, and a gorgeous high flying piked Jaeger, just beautifully executed. Every skill, oh, nailed that handstand pirouette on the low bar. This is perhaps the best I have seen. I had a feeling going into this meet, this may be the one for her. Difficult double front with a half, drills it, there it is. Judges, I swear, if you don't go 10 for this.
She has been so close so many times with 9.975s. We thought she might have gotten a 10 on Friday night against Florida. How about this one?
So many of these elements cannot be done any better. And this is a difficult routine. That is the most she has kept those knees together throughout. A highly difficult, highly complicated dismount.
She has a slight stagger in those feet on the landing. She
Exactly.
noted that the other night. Depends how close her feet together, whether they're going to give her the stick. But 9.95, another 9.95 for the Sooners. So a terrific performance in the first rotation for Oklahoma with a 49.65. They will have the lead. Can they repeat again as national champions? They've won 5 out of the last 9 championships.
It is opportunity, and not just in sport, but in education.
Wednesday night starts the NBA countdown at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then it's an NBA doubleheader, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Dallas versus New Orleans, followed by Toronto versus Los Angeles Clippers. Well, it's another great NBA Saturday primetime matchup on ABC. Milwaukee versus Golden State. Coverage begins with NBA countdown at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Now, just a couple of days ago, Oklahoma competed against Florida. It was a well-anticipated matchup. This is one of the highlights. Olivia Troutman scored a perfect 10 on her vault. This is the only second time she's competed on vault, and she got a perfect 10. But you can't discount Florida's Trinity Thomas. She scored a 9.975, nearly perfect to get things going for Florida. And of course, Jordan Bowers scoring a 9.95 on beam. It's an event that I would say is most improved from her. The consistency, the confidence, all the way through the dismount. Incredible. Oklahoma won that meet, and they got to celebrate with the second largest crowd in history. And they're not done yet. They have one more regular season meet next weekend against ASU. Then they're hosting one of the 4 regional sites. There's a lot to look forward to, but for now, this meet should be our only focus because these teams are on fire. Heading into the second rotation, Michigan will be on bars. Carly Bauman is back in the lineup, and she is putting up a good fight and winning bars even above Natalie Wojcik. Head coach Bev Plotke said that's impressive in itself. And of course, Oklahoma is on vault. Olivia Troutman scored a perfect 10 last time she competed on this event. She's hoping to repeat. I saw her stick one in warm-up. It's going to be an exciting rotation. Coming up next.
Shine your light. We're better together. Going higher, higher. Oh, we're better together. All around the world we are one. Oh, we're better together. Going higher, higher.
To you, it may just be an elevator,
Here goes nothing.
but for a young homeowner becoming their parents, it's a learning opportunity.
Come on in. The more the merrier. Paris, huh? Bonjour. We got any out-of-towners in the elevator?
Tom, it is not easy.
10th floor, huh? Must be a heck of a view.
Okay, so everyone else is facing this way?
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you
keep in
bundle
touch.
home and auto with us.
Okay, that was terrible. Okay, let's hang back. We're gonna try that again.
Michigan Wolverines, one of the great teams in the history of college gymnastics. 47 seasons of gymnastics, 27 Big Ten championships. And of course, we were there in 2021 when they won their first NCAA title after their 25th appearance in the NCAA championship. After the first rotation, however, the Oklahoma Sooners have a lead of .425. That 4 scores of 9.925 or better on bars. That means the Oklahoma Sooners have 5 of the top 8 team scores this season from any team in the NCAA on the bars. They will move to the vault, and you see the 2 teams and the lineups there. Sievers will lead them off here as well after getting an awesome start on bars for OU as well.
Oklahoma's going to do all 6 vaults as 10-0 start values. Yurchenko 1.5, twist this blind landing right here. You have to really feel for that landing. She didn't get the stick, and she stepped off to the side. One of the big differences you'll see between Michigan and Oklahoma, two of the best vaulting teams in the country.
Abbey High School will be first up for Michigan on the bar. Sam?
Yeah, she's actually one of their highest scoring athletes. We asked Bev Flocky if they ever thought about moving her back in the lineup, and they said, yeah, we wanted her to, but she loves being first. She said she loves this team so much, she thinks it helps the team to set them off on a good tone. Even if she doesn't score that perfect 10, they all think that she can get.
Wow, look at the amplitude on that pack salto. Really nice flare in that position. Final handstand just perfect. Up on top of the bar, full pirouette into a very clean, tuck double back. Strong start.
With this experienced team, there's no way you can talk about the postseason without talking about Michigan. They have the talent, the experience, and the skills to challenge again for another national title, Cappy.
Absolutely, and it's the little details.
Allie Stern led off the Sooners with a 9.85. Excuse me, Danny Sievers. Here's Allie Stern.
Very consistent. Oh. Wow, I'm glad she changed because she was very off on the approach. The round off, everything was off. I'm glad she was able to just do a full and not try to go for the 1.5.
She did the same thing in the one-touch warm-up. It was as if her timing was a little bit off. Normally she does a big 1.5, but made a smart move there and a safe move. Gabby Wilson now up on the bars. High school led them off with a huge 9.95 career high.
Judges are looking for smooth, effortless swing and these difficult elements like that E-skill, a pike Jaeger. Perfect vertical positions is another must on this event for no deduction. Like to see a little bit straighter arms on those casts, but everything else, she has dialed it in so nicely, and a nice double layout with a great landing. Really starting to see them build momentum here on this event.
The senior from Ypsilanti, Gabby Wilson, one of the team captains.
Legs glued together to give no form deductions. See if she can land with, it's a little bit lower, so her chest was slightly low, but the landing was superb.
Kat Lavasser has been in the lineup on vault 8 times this season for the Sooners. She has scored at 10.
This vault really has it all. Excellent technique, good form, nice stretched layout position.
Looks like there might be a judges conference as we get set for the score for Allie Stern is what they're discussing. Allie normally does a 10-0 start value, that 1.5 twister.
Right.
But her timing was a bit off in the warm-up, and so she just did the full twister, which is a different start value, right?
So it's a harder vault to judge because there's a deduction for one doing the wrong vault, but then they judge from what that vault is worth.
Remember, 6 athletes compete, 5 scores count towards the team total, so they can drop a low score, and that brings up Kat Lavasser.
Watch the form on this vault. So clean, so well executed. Did not get the stick though, big step. Usually we see Oklahoma sticking landings a little bit more on these vaults.
Yeah, but Kathy, we can't ignore the fact that it's a big physical challenge, but it's also a big mental challenge to compete against 2 incredibly tough teams back to back.
Absolutely, and 2 really good vaulting teams where you really have so much adrenaline going into that event. It's hard to control.
Nicoleto Poulos, one of the team captains, the senior out of Long Beach, California. Get this, Michigan led off with 2 9.95s. Gabby Wilson got one herself.
Nice blind change into the straddle Jaeger. I like how far she was from the bar so she could really stretch and reach for the regrasp. Good final cast. She may have gotten a little bit sway-backed in trying to show it on top of the bar. Boy, she snapped those feet together for the landing to try to show off the stick.
At 5'6", that long length is impressive on the bars. She missed part of last year because she had a thumb ligament injury, but has been in the lineup in 4 meets. This is her 5th meet for Michigan this year. Olivia Troutman, remember, she scored a perfect 10 a week ago, and she got off the Sooners to a good start on bars as well.
She is such a well-trained, well-prepared athlete who is a beast in competition. Talk about being able to just focus and dial in landings. Wow.
That is just mind-boggling.
That's a superpower.
I just can't, gotta bring this up again, Kathy. She's done 2 vaults. 50% have been a perfect 10. If she gets a 10, her rate is more than 50%. That's incredible.
So what you're saying, that's the secret.
That is the secret. Just be Olivia Troutman.
Oh, she scored 5 10s in her career, 1 on floor and 4 on vault. Carly Bauman coming after Nicoletta Kulos had a 9.85.
Nice job connecting those 2 skills. She went right from the single bar release into the overshoot on low. Toe blind, oh, wow, she fought and saved it, but they will take a little deduction for the arm bend and the hesitation in that handstand, but way to fight.
Of course, if she went over on the handstand, there would have been a significant deduction. So Michigan showing a lot of grit here in the 2nd rotation. Back to vault for Sooners. You see the score for there for Troutman, 9.975. Jordan Bowers now.
And talk about consistency. Jordan Bowers has been so consistent this year. Good technique. Step on the landing, but a nice vault in the air. In terms of how much do you deduct for a landing, it depends on how large that step is. If it was just a tiny shift of both feet, it could be a 1/2 tenth, but a big step like that is minimum of 1/10, if not more.
Sierra Brooks coming after Bauman had a 9.8. So after those 2 big 9.95s to start off Michigan, scores have gotten more modest.
Difficult, Pike Jaeger. Judges really look to see if they can keep form throughout the entire skill. And wait till you see the dismount, the most difficult one in NCAA. It's a double layout with a full twist. That's stellar.
That was beautiful. Great technique and body line throughout, and the most difficult move being done off the bars in college gymnastics.
We see full twisting double backs all the time, but not in that laid out position. That is just next level in terms of difficulty. And she does it really well, maintains the form, just a slight little hop in place, but her feet didn't leave the floor.
Jordan Bowers got a 9.9. Audrey Davis also competing in the all-around now. Will anchor it for the Sooners here.
This is a very elegantly performed vault. That step back, unfortunately, is a deduction, and also because of the under rotation, that's another slight deduction.
So the score right now, the low score for the Sooners they would like to drop is the 9.75 from Allie Stern. They have 3 scores, 9.9 or better in that lineup. Talk about brilliance on bars. That brings up Natalie Wojcik. Sierra Brooks, by the way, had a 9.975 career high.
Watch this release move. It is crazy high, crazy difficult. It's called a Delchev. Very few gymnasts perform it. Her form is just immaculate. Her precision, pristine. Oh, wonderful lift. She rotated that really well and had to control the over rotation with a little step.
The Sooners have the lead, and their head coach is with Sam now.
Thanks, Bart. KJ, you've had 2 tough competitions back-to-back. What's the message to the team to handle this kind of pressure?
You know, we knew that this was coming. We knew all year long, so we were going to put our best product out there both days. We knew. So, yeah, I mean, just give it all you got.
What have you been happy with so far in this meet?
I thought bars was really good. Landings were dialed in. I thought our angles were better. On vault, we had that error early on, and I think it shook people up a little bit. They started to go into survival mode instead of going for those sticks. So not really what we're capable of for sure.
And what do you need to do to have a successful restless meet?
Honestly, we just need a clean slate, start over, and go after it on floor.
Thanks, KJ.
Thank you.
And the Sooners still have a lead of 0.2 of a point, but on an outstanding bar score for Michigan, 49-625. They've closed the gap on the Sooners. Remember, it's #1 versus #2 tonight here in Ann Arbor. As we wrap up the regular season, we have a great one. Stay with us.
Here in Ann Arbor, it's the halfway point. Oklahoma at Michigan. You can see Oklahoma is just ahead of Michigan, but the next two rotations are strengths for both of these teams. We've been talking consistently just how remarkable these two teams are, and it was actually on beam that both Michigan and Oklahoma clinched the national titles. This is Natalie Wojcik just a couple of years ago. She has a national title on this beam and was a huge part of their success over the years. Incredible year for Michigan that was. And then for Oklahoma, Reagan Smith got the job done for them last year, scoring a 9.9625 to secure the win. She's been a huge part of their success this year. But I had a chance to speak with the Michigan coaches, and they said that beam started a little rocky for them. They had some wobbles, but they got some of their key athletes back in the lineups. Carly Bauman is one of those athletes, and they feel like they're really in the groove now. So coming up next, Michigan will be on beam. Again, another highlight, Natalie Wojcik. She already has a national championship title. She's calm, she's consistent, and she is just so stunning to watch on this event. And one of the highlights for me on Oklahoma's floor is Jordan Bowers. She's dynamic, she's intense, and so fun to watch. Let's learn a little bit more about this sophomore.
My favorite TV show is Friends. Favorite song is In Your Arms by Illenium. Favorite food is steak. Favorite emoji is the red heart. Favorite social media app is Instagram.
Welcome back inside Chrysler Arena. Here is the meet summary at the halfway point. Oklahoma leads by just 0.2 of a point now after Michigan had a season-high team score on bars of 49-625. So Michigan closed the gap. This is #1 versus #2 in the final meet of the regular season. These two teams will definitely be in the conversation when we talk about national titles being handed out this year. Michigan will move to the beam, where, as Sam mentioned just before we came back, this is an event where they showed a little inconsistent early in the year. They're ranked 6th in the country. Carly Bauman will lead them off.
And she is in this position because she is just so calm and consistent, which is exactly what you need to lead off. You got to set the pace, set the tone, and the trust of all your teammates. Her acro series is right here. Back handspring to a layout, step out. Very solid. They also have to perform a dance series connecting two dance elements. Hers will be right here, a cat leap first into a switch leap half, a more difficult jump. Judges are looking for full extension, that 180-degree split.
Coach Bev Plotke very excited for her. Here's a young lady who tore her Achilles before last season. And here she is in the lineup. Last week scored a 9.925.
You just saw an interesting skill, side somersault, but with the legs straight, so it's side cartwheel that, aerial cartwheel that lands sideways. Sets up her dismount. Always a fun one to see. Just runs to the end of the beam and tosses herself into a gainer back somersault in fight position. Good job.
Although she's from West Des Moines, Iowa, she's had Michigan in her blood since being a little girl. Her great-grandfather attended the University of Michigan. She did her club training at Chow's Gymnastics, who has produced so many world and Olympic medalists. Audrey Davis, competing in the all-around tonight for the Sooners, along with Jordan Bowers, will lead them off on the floor.
Audrey is such a beautiful gymnast on every event. Opens with a double twisting front, that's an E-skill. This is an event where she can really show off her flexibility, her lines, her toe point and footwork. Second and final pass is a combination pass, and it actually earns 3/10 bonus because she twists both these elements, back 1.5 to a front full. Beautiful routine and great start for Oklahoma.
Wednesday night starts with the NBA countdown at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then it's an NBA doubleheader, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Dallas versus New Orleans, followed by Toronto versus the Los Angeles Clippers.
Next up on beam for Michigan, Gabby Wilson.
Carly Bauman did her job in that leadoff spot with a clutch 9-9. Gabby Wilson up now.
And there's a couple really neat parts of this routine, partly because of her amplitude, but also just the way that she does the skill, this back handspring layout step out. She keeps her legs together longer in the air before she steps out and down to the beam. Shows good amplitude. And then her dance series is also a little bit different, standing switch jump. She does it twice. Switches her legs in the air, boom, and then again.
Oh, that's great. In every beam lineup this year, season high 9-9.
Full turn, a requirement on the balance beam. You must execute one full turn on one foot. And love this difficulty. Round off double back right here. Very few gymnasts take risks like this. She does it easily and very well. Wow, drills the landing. What a great routine.
Oh, and she gets congratulations there from Miley Kaneva. Miley was a gymnast at Oklahoma. Now she's an assistant here at Michigan, and she's proud of this beam team.
Really neat. See how those legs are almost together at the height of that layout step out. Then she steps it out. But the double back, that's the chef's kiss right there.
Wilson, one of 4 athletes for Michigan in the all-around tonight. That has been a tradition here for the last few years. 4 and sometimes even 5 all-arounders in a competition. As we go to Reagan Smith, Audrey Davis led off the Sooners with a 9-9.
See if she can control her power here. Tough double back. Really works hard to keep that front foot down as she steps into the lunge. Combination, back 1.5, front layout, good shape, and steps right into that battement. Series here, watch the position, beautiful extension on that switch side. Double back to finish. So on her last pass, that double pike, if you step forward, sometimes they'll take a deduction for an under rotation, depending on what it looks like. So she gets it around
Next up on beam.
And you'll see she does step forward, but also back with that lunge. So it just depends on what the judges see from their angle.
Gabby Wilson scored a 9.975, so a 10 from one judge, and I had a chance to ask her, what were you thinking about during her beam routine? She said, you know, I just looked around, and there's so much love in this arena tonight. We're having the best time. And Natalie Wojcik, I think, was more excited about her score than she was. So it's good vibes over there for Michigan on beam.
So Sam, fill the arena with love, and we'll see more and more 10s. Sounds good.
Well, so far off to an incredible start. Two huge scores, Bauman's 9.9 and Gabby Wilson's 9.975. Just like Michigan started off on bars at the start of this competition.
I really like to see that with Nicoletta on that acro series. She was slightly off to the side, but she just finessed it, kept it right, got it right back in line.
Last week had her season high here, 9.95. She's been in the lineup 7 of 8 meets.
Oh, boy. Difficult jump where you're turning in the air, but she lost her balance, lifted her leg, which makes for a more significant deduction. Cat leap to front aerial, needed to get that front foot down. She's giving away tiny little balance errors. Back 1.5, strong finish, but a little nervy in the routine. So you can see that she's just slightly off, so she had to make a correction to keep the balance on. Good look to see just how narrow that balance beam is, just under 4 inches wide.
She got some notes there from Bev Plotke, the head coach at Michigan, as we go now to Danae Fletcher. Reagan Smith had a 9.825.
One of my favorite music selections. And so much sass and attitude. It's so perfect for the choreography. Whip back through the tuck double back. Fun to see something a little bit different. No hands on that first skill into the double back. Combination pass. Such great entertainment value. I love seeing that. The expression on her face is always just on point for this music, for the choreography. Whip back. Notice no hands go down, so it's a back handspring with no hands.
Next up on beam for Michigan, Sierra.
And then those judges, they look for control on the landing, but also clean execution in the air in a very difficult 2.5 twist, trying to keep those legs locked together.
Score came in for Nicoletta Koulos, a 9.7. Sierra Brooks. Now here's a good time to remind audience who doesn't see gymnastics a lot, 6 athletes compete. You pick the best 5 of those 6 scores that will go towards the team total. So you can have one lower score, but if you have another mistake, that can really affect the team outcome here.
Impressive confidence so far. Notice how she connected those 2 switch leaps. Back to back. Sometimes it's so challenging, Sam, to not rush on a balance beam when you've had a couple little mistakes before you.
It's about controlling that adrenaline, Kathy, and you know more than anybody, it's hard to simulate that in a practice environment. So you add in senior night against Oklahoma, these nerves and adrenaline are pumping.
describes it perfectly, and learning how to handle those so that you can compete the way you train and train the way you compete.
Yeah, and she always reminds Bev that she's not in politics, even though Bev always tells her she should be the next president of the United States because she is the total whole package. That's how incredible she is.
She has competed in all around in almost every meet in her career for Michigan. What a contributor she has been. Danny Sievers, now you see her floor NQS. NQS stands for National Qualifying Score, which is how the athletes and teams are ranked as we head to the postseason. Danae Fletcher had a strong 9.95 before her.
First look at a full twisting double back on floor. Oh, hopped forward, so a little under rotated.
I think it's worth mentioning, this is the 10th meet of the regular season for these gymnasts. And in fact, for the Sooners, they were less than 72 hours ago competing against the other #2 team in the country at the time. That was Florida. So this is a very taxing season on these athletes, and you can expect that they would be a little bit tired.
And yet it's great preparation because that's what they have to do at regionals and again at NCAA championships.
The Sooners pride themselves on having extremely fit athletes who can endure this season all the way through several meets in the postseason with that kind of pressure.
Good point you made. The endurance is so important, not just on this floor exercise, but for a long season to do this every single weekend while trying to make corrections, perfect elements. Love to see this full twisting double back. It's an E skill. She was just a little underpowered and slightly under rotated, so they'll take a small deduction for that.
Several coaches like to schedule weekends with 2 meets because that does replicate what it's like at the regionals as well as the national championship, where they have a qualifying round and a championship. So it's a great test, and KJ Kindler proud of the schedule that she's put together. They have taken on everybody this year as we go to high school on beat.
Example of a dance acro series, that cat leap into the side aerial where you connect dance and an acrobatic element.
Brooks had a 9.825.
Switch leap, switch leap. Like the way the second one rose even higher. Judges look for that full split, and they sit right on the side of the beam so they can see the complete picture in the air, lifting that leg, slight leg correction for the balance.
Gymnastics fans will remember high school's clutch beam routine at that 2021 NCAA championship, which helped secure that first team title for the Wolverines.
Nerves crept in just a bit toward the end of the routine. Wow, beautiful 1.5 twist. That's exactly the way she stuck her vault in training, by the way, that I saw. She has such great air awareness. But right here, she brought that second leg down just a little, rushed it just a little too much. That happens when you're nervous. And when you do that, it just breaks the continuity of the skill so you can finish strong.
Danny Sievers had a 9.825. That brings up freshman Faith Torres.
She has been sensational on this event all season long. She combines the power and the technique on this tumbling pass. Huge, beautiful double layer.
Oh.
Pass to finish. You have to have a pass that has 2 different saltos or flips in them. And she does a front for the first skill. Right here, steps out of it and goes through to a really sky-high tuck double back. I think she might have jumped back a little too much for that lunge. but impressive power, technique on her tumbling. So fun to watch.
You can't teach quick twitch muscles. Either you can get off the floor or you can't, Kathy, right?
No, and she can
Wow.
launch herself off the floor.
Tom Haley giving a couple of notes there. Tom, associate head coach at Oklahoma. They have that same coaching staff for the last 17 years in a row with Kindler, her husband, Lou Ball, and Tom Haley. Natalie Wojcik now on beam. High school had a 9.8.
And I give her the 3 P's. It's precise, pristine, and purposeful. Everything is so clear, clean. And you can give the judges no reason to make a mark on their paper for a balance correction or lack of split or amplitude. Her feet positions are so good. Triple series here, 2 back handsprings, layout, step out. And she is just so beautiful, but also aggressive. And when you can attack like that, well, you might as well just put a crown on your head because you are a beam queen when you have all of these elements in one routine. This mount is a 1.5 twist. See if she can stick.
Oh,
wow.
Beautiful.
That's a beauty.
She told me before the beam rotation that she's gonna keep her eyes on the beam. She's gonna find her arms and lock in those landings, and she did all 3 of those things. The ultimate beam queen.
Sam, I mean, you and I both, we know beam when we see beam, and this is it. Well done.
She is the AAI award winner from last year, which is essentially the Heisman Trophy of gymnastics. She won it as a senior. Of course, she's a graduate student now. Faith Torres had it as strong 9.925, and Jordan Bowers will ankle floor for the Sooners.
Choreography goodies in this routine. They're just so much fun to see. Beautiful execution on pike double back. She captures this music and mood so well, and does difficult tumbling passes. Unfortunately, the fall 0.5 of a point off.
She had a little stumble on that combination pass on Friday night against Florida as well.
Last week it looked more like mistiming of the element. This looked like fatigue, a fatigue error to me. And no wonder. I mean, these athletes have been going hard in every meet. I mean, they're not #1 for no reason. They came out strong. They've stayed strong. They've been so on point. And I think that was just a fatigue error.
The Sooners are 13-0, 3-0 in the conference, the Big 12. Of course, they'll be moving soon to the SEC, and that will change the dynamics for sure. Sam?
Bev, you always talk about the phenomenal leadership of your team. It's senior night, and 2 of those seniors scored a 9.975 on beam. What does that mean to you, this program, to them?
It's awesome. I love these young ladies, and I'm so excited for them. Senior night is very difficult because they want to be perfect, and sometimes you can't over try. So I always worry about senior night a little bit, but I'm really proud of them and super happy for both Natalie and Gabby.
Trailing by just a little bit heading into the last rotation. What do you guys need to do on floor to clinch the win here?
I don't want to pay attention to scores. I want my athletes to go over there and perform floor the way we know how. We were the #1 team on floor for a large part of the season, and I'd like to show everybody why.
Thanks, Bev.
Thanks.
When we come back, we're going to talk a lot about the postseason, exciting things to come, coming up next. You're watching the Big Ten on ESPN. Michigan and Oklahoma have won the last 2 NCAA championship titles. They're currently ranked 1 and 2 nationally, and even though they both want another title, there can only be one winner. Both of these teams are dialed in, they're focused on the details, and guys, it's showing up in the competitions. This postseason is gonna be wild because not just these two teams, but there's a handful of teams across the nation that are making a strong bid for themselves. Bart, what do you think about that?
These two teams are separated by just 15 100ths of a point going into the final rotation. And surely as we look to the postseason, these two teams will be in the conversation. But there's never been more parity in NCAA gymnastics than now.
No, wow, when you look at the top 10, it is really amazing. We haven't quite yet seen Florida full throttle. Michigan jumped over Florida in the standings last week. Nobody can pass Oklahoma this week, but next week, guess what? Michigan has an away meet where they can drop a low 197 and really make a move on Oklahoma.
You know, of course, we're used to seeing the traditional teams at the top, Oklahoma, Michigan, Florida, Utah, UCLA, LSU. But what really impresses me is these sort of tier 2 teams that all of a sudden come surging into the NCAA championship. Last year, I had the most fun watching Missouri and Michigan State just come from nowhere, and now they're, you know, real contenders and in the conversation.
Tier 2 no more. There are no tiers. They're going to just shuffle around, and you're right. NCAA gymnastics has never been better.
Okay, we go to the 4th and final rotation. When we come back to the Chrysler Arena, Audrey Davis will be up for the Sooners. The all-arounder tonight having a strong competition. And of course, Gabby Wilson. This is their final performance in front of her home crowd here on senior night. We'll see her on the floor when we come back. What a weekend we have had on the ESPN family of networks. Let's take a look at this 1 versus 2 matchup. Oklahoma led the meet after the first rotation by just under a half a point, but Michigan has been chipping away. Oklahoma only leads by 0.15, and they have to go to the beam in the 4th and final rotation, and the home team will have an opportunity to shine on the floor. This will come down likely to the last athlete and the last landing. There's KJ Kindler, 17 years she's run this program. She and Bev Plotke are the only 2 coaches in the NCAA currently coaching who've coached a national championship team. Jenna Dunn will be the leadoff for the Sooners.
And Bart, a coach cannot ask for a better scenario. Let's take a look at the all-around.
You see so many athletes, 4 from Michigan and 2 from Oklahoma. Jenna Dunn herself, a specialist here. She is a senior, and she just sort of owns this leadoff spot for the Sooners, doesn't she?
Yes, and when you find a leadoff like this, it is money in the bank. Triple series right here. Look at the 2 backhandsmans into the layout, step out. So secure. I was about to say a coach cannot ask for a better scenario to stress test these beam routines in preparation for postseason. It's so important to be able to handle, not just handle, you've got to love this kind of stress, this kind of pressure.
We saw the Sooners in this situation against LSU this year. They were down in Baton Rouge. LSU was having the meet of the season, and the Sooners had to finish strong on beam to secure the win.
Titles are often won or lost because of this event. So great job by Jenna Dunn to start them off on balance beam. Especially when you have the home team performing on floor exercise, senior night. The enthusiasm in this arena can really buoy these athletes to phenomenal performances.
We saw Koulos on bars for Michigan get a 9.85. We saw her on the beam.
She was gorgeous.
9.7, here she is on the floor.
With her dance skills, shows off her flexibility and lines. twist to a punch front. Beautifully done.
She's been in every meet on floor for the Wolverines this year with a season high 9.95.
Shows off beautiful dance positions. Very elegant in her presentation. Finishes with a high pike double back. Very nice control. That. Really nicely done.
Yeah, that artistic quality of those routines are incredible. I just talked to Abbey High School on the sideline over here, and she said Maile Caneva Hermelin finds unique pieces and unique music to really help them enjoy their routine. And after that double pike, you can really see that from Nicoletta.
Olivia Troutman now. Jenna Dunn, money in the bank with a 9-9 leadoff spot. That's just what she's known for.
Just as we saw her dial in that landing on vault and be so aggressive and strong in her technique on bars, she is equally impressive on this event. Keeps her cool.
She had a knee surgery this preseason in October and worked her way back into the lineup. This will be her 6th performance on beam.
Front toss. Oh, a little bit of a balance break. I saw the look on her face. She's a perfectionist, so she's a little bit disappointed in giving away that small deduction. But honestly, she handled it so well. Back 1.5 twist, little under rotation, so she had to scoot back. That is not a bad routine, however. I know she's disappointed because she just holds herself to such a high standard.
Only one score for her this year below 9.9, and it was a 9.8 to 2.5. So she has been remarkably consistent for the Sooners. Abbey High School coming after Nicoletta Koulos. A terrific 9.925 to lead off Michigan. Boy, their lead-off competitors on every event today have been superb, Kathy.
Oh, yeah. This is music that can fire up your first tumbling pass. It's a very difficult double Arabian right here. So a half turn out of the back handspring and double front.
Been incredible since she's been here, but I asked the coaches what makes this year unique, and they said it's this floor routine right here, that she just is organically oozing confidence and truly just having fun. I mean, look at it, Kathy.
I mentioned it last meet, it just kind of slipped out. I was like, if you are not having fun, it ain't worth it. And we're seeing more and more of that in college gymnastics. Good difficulty, good control. Strong routine.
The graduate from Charlotte, North Carolina, getting her master's degree in applied exercise science, and the home crowd loves it.
And this is where you could start to see the emotion come through with senior night. I mean, what a special moment to be in front of your home crowd.
Olivia Troutman, 9.85 for the Sooners. Jordan Bowers now.
This is the event that Jordan has just improved so much since last year, gained her confidence and consistency. Very clean and precise so far, sets up her acro series. Handspring layout, step out. No wobble, just a little uncertain.
After having a 9-9 on vault and 9-9-5 on bars, only a 9-5 on floor in that third rotation.
I like that she's really taking control of her nerves. Michigan has been putting some pressure on Oklahoma, so this is a great test for them. Watch the double twist here, see if she can get the landing. Nice adjustment in there to keep those feet firmly planted on the landing. So you can see the tiny little adjustment she makes on this just with her torso so that she could keep those feet with no movement.
Second 9-9-2-5 in a row for Michigan on floor, and that brings up Natalie Wojcik. This meet is getting closer by every routine. Michigan was trailing, and they're chipping away at the Sooners here in this last rotation.
Difficult leap here, Tertia full. So that's 1.5 turns in the air as she's performing the Tertia. Back 1.5 to front leg. That second skill should have risen just a little bit more for full amplitude. Double back. Oh, that's a great landing and blowing kisses to the home crowd.
As she should.
I mean, look at that toe point. You got to admire right there, that toe point.
Oh my goodness.
What a nice moment. Just very emotional, obviously. And so many pretty parts to this routine. To finish this strong and then blow the kisses to the crowd. That's wonderful.
Ev Plotke, the head coach, calls her the team mother. She's very nurturing to the younger athletes, and what a contributor she has been, one of the greats of all time for Michigan. As we go to Audrey Davis, look at the score there for Jordan Bowers. What a way to come back from that slight stumble on floor, 9-9-5.
And the beautiful work we just saw from Audrey, mounting the balance beam with an unusual balanced pose, showing off flexibility. I mean, she is truly an acrobat and an artist. Back handspring layout, step out. Oh, so secure on that front aerial. The little details are just so lovely. Difficult split ring jump. The dismount is a double twist. Excellent control. Wow, what a routine. That was stunning.
It was stunning. Under enormous pressure because Michigan just got their third 9-9-2-5 in a row. Audrey Davis comes up big.
I have to say, if I'm being picky, maybe a little position in the ring jump, but everything else just Woo! So beautifully done.
Naomi Morrison now, Michigan, shining on floor.
I love this music too. Let's see if it powers her to a beautiful full twisting double back. Two front layouts here. The second one with a full twist. I love that Michigan has several routines with 3 tumbling passes, really taking the risk to do more difficulty, land more passes.
Yes. Oh, great.
Great job, and so fun.
The junior from Chandler, Arizona, they'll be expecting a lot from her for her senior year as well because they have so many graduating.
I like the way she does it. Half twist in, half twist out to total a full twist in that double back. And the last pass, well done on the tuck double back.
Faith Torres now for the Sooners on beam.
Yeah, she's just a freshman, but she's actually competed a lot for being a freshman. Head coach KJ Kindler said that one of the things she likes most about her is that she's able to put things behind her. Little mistakes don't seem to bother her, and last time she was on beam, she did have a mistake, so KJ isn't super worried about this routine because she does that very well. And Kathy, you know how hard that is to have a mistake on beam and to put it behind you.
Absolutely, it's something we all have to learn how to embrace that moment, as stressful as it is.
She had a fall versus Florida on Friday night, just a 9.35.
Well, she's already through the part, that she had the mistake on last week, but little break there. One and a half twist on the dismount, tries to hold on to it, does a quick salute.
Before her, Audrey Davis, a career high 9.95. This is going to come down to the wire, folks.
Side aerial to the back handspring layouts, or the back layout step up. Very difficult acro series because that first element turns in the air.
Naomi Morrison, season high 9.95. That brings up Sierra Brooks in the 5th of 6. Every athlete 9.925 or better for Michigan so far on floor. This is amazing.
So full twisting double back here. Very well done. I'm looking for the flag. We both looked up, Art. Looked like she was right on the line, maybe not over. Half to a split pull. So she does 2 passes, but a lot of difficulty in both the passes. The full twisting double back in the beginning, and this front through to a tuck double back at the end.
I love it. No score under 9.9 for her on floor this year, and another great performance, Kathy.
It really is, especially when you consider the emotion of competing on senior night, and she just really paid attention to these details, fought for every 10th of a point.
Reagan Smith has been in this situation before. Faith Torres just a 9.75. You see the other scores the Sooners would like to count. They count 5 out of 6. And Reagan Smith last year on beam at the NCAA championship delivered that 9.9625 to win it for the Sooners. Similar situation tonight. This is close.
Here's her acro series back handspring layout, step out. Ooh. Had to take that step, extra step back. So she really needs to tighten her focus, stay aggressive, but not rush. It's a great combination here, very difficult. Straddle leap with a half turn in the air and then right to that back handspring swing down.
Scored a 10 this year on beam against Denver.
Just the dismount left. Gave up a little bitty balance break right there. Just little things, but they could add up. Back handspring, swing through to the gainer fall. Good fight, but there are things to take in the routine.
Well, that sets up the final routine tonight for Gabby Wilson because Sierra Brooks got a 9.9 for Michigan. The Oklahoma Sooners are 13-0, undefeated. But the fate of the Michigan Wolverines, who lost to Oklahoma in the first meet of the year in the Super 16 Challenge in Las Vegas, have a chance. They already have a 197.95.
There's another double back with a full twist. She'll wait on the twist and twist it on the second somersault.
A 9.9 for Wilson, or better, will win this meet for Michigan.
Front layout to a front full. Precision on these leaps is necessary. Well done. Double tuck, watch her landing, see if her feet stay planted.
There it is.
There it is. So Michigan showing why they have been #1 most of the season on this routine, on this event. Now #2, but look at this crowd.
On their feet, no score below 9.9. The score's in for Reagan Smith on beam for the Sooners. But it is academic here now on senior night with 3 seniors and 2 graduate students. What a way to send them off to the postseason. Michigan will win it, handing the Sooners their first loss of the year.
Next up on beam as exhibition for Oklahoma, Catherine Professor.
The final results, Michigan 197.95, 198.025. Now that we got the score in for Gabby Wilson, edges out Oklahoma by 1/10 of a point. Oh, expect to see these teams at the postseason because they will be battling again. Michigan's team high, 49-7 on floor, clinched it. It came from behind. Expect them to battle it out when we go to the postseason because these are 2 great teams. We'll be back to Chrysler Center to wrap this one up. What a thrilling way to wrap up the regular season.
Welcome back to Ann Arbor. I'm with senior Gabby Wilson. An incredible night that she's had. What a way to celebrate your senior night. 2 9.975s. How were you able to stay so calm on such an important night?
I mean, this is our last meet in Chrysler this season. I really just want to leave everything out there. And there's just so much energy and love in here. I just felt like I was outside of my body. I just had to let myself do what I know I can do.
It was a tough competition against the #1 ranked Oklahoma, and it came down to the last event and the last few competitions. What were you guys thinking throughout this meet?
I mean, you have to expect that to be close. I mean, #1, #2, we knew that we're going to have to fight the whole way through. And it was our best event, and we're home, and we're going to have a party. It was awesome. So it's really just doing it for each other and knowing that whatever happens, we'll all still be there for each other and back each other's up.
What does this kind of fight say about your team heading into the postseason?
It says that it's never over till it's over. Yeah, forever go blue, period.
Thanks, Gabby.
All right, congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines. They hand the Sooners their first loss, and Gabby Wilson a big part of that.
I have to say, I love seeing that relaxed smile at the end of this competition because she was so serious and so dialed in, keeping those emotions in check to hit these routines. What a great senior night. What a great competition.
Oh, my goodness. And, of course, this is the 4th time this year that Michigan's over 198. We have so many good teams in the hunt for this championship, and we've got to see all of them this year in the regular season.
Oh, we have. And this was a great opportunity for both these teams that happen to be 1-2 right now to prepare for postseason because they've got to compete back-to-back, day in between, but that's what you do at regionals, at nationals. So good preparation. It's good for Oklahoma to feel a little pressure so they know what that feels like. And we're just setting up postseason. This is
That's
awesome.
a good point. Let's take a look at the postseason activities. The SEC Championships will be down there on March 18th. That'll be on the SEC Network. And the Big 12 Championships will be on that same day on ESPNU. And then it's the NCAA Gymnastics Regionals, 4 different regionals around the country, March 30th and April 2nd. And then the NCAA Championships from Fort Worth, Texas will be in the middle of April. April 13th is the semifinal round with 8 teams, the best 8 in the country, and the best 4 will be on the floor at April 15th on ABC. So the stage is set for an outstanding finish of this season. It just seems like, Kathy, it seems redundant, but every year it just gets better and better, and the popularity is growing, record crowds. People are very excited about college gymnastics.
It's like Groundhog Day on steroids, I think. I don't know. It's just every year it does. It just gets better. All the teams, the parity, the level of difficulty, the execution. It's just everything is that much better.
What advice would you give these teams as they start focusing on that postseason? Because it will come down to tenths, even hundredths of a point.
What Gabby Wilson said. It's not over till it's over. So keep on, just keep on keeping on.
Well, we've seen both of these teams come through in clutch performances, but there's a little additional pressure when it's senior night. Because obviously all of these athletes want to go out on a big night. The Oklahoma Sooners made it a close competition. They were in the lead by almost a half a point. But the Michigan team, led by those seniors, kept chipping away and finally got the win in that final rotation.
Anytime you can replicate the kind of stress you need to feel to be at your best when things are hardest, that's great for both teams.
You take a look at the most recent NCAA championships. Of course, the 2020 NCAA championship was canceled, but the Oklahoma Sooners have been the most dominant team of the last decade. And of course, Bev Plotke, as she gets her team together here on senior night, 27 times she's led this team to a Big Ten title. She's in her 34th year. The most successful coach in Big Ten history, and expect Michigan to be in fine form as we get ready for the national championship. It's going to be a great postseason. We're glad you've joined us, going all the way back to January the 6th. What a way to finish it up tonight here in Ann Arbor. The Sooners, Michigan 1-2, and Michigan gets the win here at home on senior night. Make sure you stay tuned to the ESPN family of networks because a lot of great postseason gymnastics coming up. For Kathy Johnson-Clark and Sam Pesek, I'm Bart Connor. So long from Ann Arbor.